Peace. Greetings to you all. It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, AKA Mr. Just the Facts. Family, make sure y'all hit that like button, share the video out. If you are not subscribed to the channel, we stream on YouTube, but we also stream on Facebook, and we also stream on Twitter. Come over to the YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button so that you can become a part of the notification nation and be informed every single time. Be notified, I should say, every time Be the Power goes live. Shout out to the fam that's in the building. Rep Sister BTP Riri is on deck. You know, people starting to pile in. Tonight we're gonna talk about the immigration invasion. We're gonna get into this thing tonight. So, matter of fact, I don't think I put the link in for my bros, just in case they're going to jump on. So give me 1 sec, fam. Let's make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you share the video out. And if you would like to support the platform, you could use the Cash App, Be the Power. You could use Super Chat, use whatever means that you that you see fit. Peace to Jabbar Yu, peace to Farouk Salam, peace Sister Roz. So I woke up today to several news articles. One I shared on my Twitter feed about the governor of Florida. I'm not a fan of that guy at all. That's one dude I really not feeling like that. But he sent, I think it was 2 plane loads of migrants up to Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard is a place where a lot of rich liberals go to. They retire there. They have beach homes, vacation homes. Our former president, the Trojan horse, Barack Obama, has a home up there. Shout out to Fashion. I remember trying to say this name before. Fascitecture. I think I said that right. Yellow Geechee, Miss Battle was good. So I was looking at that, and then I looked at another article where I believe it was Texas, and I'm gonna pull those up, had sent a bunch of migrants up to Washington, D.C., right outside of the home of Kamala Harris, another Trojan horse. So I decided I would go live again tonight and touch on this topic. It's much needed. Where do I want? Let's start with let's pull up. I'm not going to read through all of these. I just want to touch on them because we are in the midst of an invasion. It is what it is. That's why I use that thumbnail. It's the people that are crossing through other countries to get to this one. And the reason why that is extremely problematic on so many levels, but for us, is because it hurts Black people the most in this country. Let me be specific. It hurts the American freedmen the most in this country. So you see Texas sends migrants to vice president's Washington residence. So, some people are calling this a political stunt. And some people feel that this is the right thing to do. Y'all want them here, then y'all take them. Let me close that one out. I'm pretty certain everybody have seen these floating over the internet. I'm not going to read through all of them, but I'll put them in the chat. Peace, Sister Shanna. All right, I said it. I said it right. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yes, Sister Roz. Biden sanctions the invaders, and I'm gonna pull up some statistics that shows this sanctioning. Right? How does the numbers look once Biden takes office? How do those look? I'm gonna pull that up in a few minutes. Pull that up in a few minutes. Let me pull up this other article real quick. These pop-up ads are crazy now. Sheesh. All right, Reuters did a report as well. Let me pull that up. Fam, hit that like button, support the channel, use that super chat, use the Cash app, because we're in the process of reorganizing some things right now. So we're trying to perfect our brand and really start pushing Be the Power a little more aggressively, because we need to lock our media down. I don't know if you've seen the post that I made going at Roland Martin on my Twitter page, where he absolved Tyler Perry's very insensitive comments that basically said black people shouldn't get jobs that they're not ready for. So he doesn't give it to them, implying that he gives them to other people of other ethnicities, as if he was some trained actor himself. He put on a bunch of trash plays that people found amusing, and he built a lane for himself. I'm not knocking anyone's success, but I'm going to knock the fact that it's like a person that grew up in the hood and then got money, and now all of a sudden he shits on the hood. It's like, nah, I ain't feeling that. You making money now all of a sudden you're better than the place that you came from. So, we had to address that. Peace to D in the building. So we see migrants flown to Martha's Vineyard by Florida governor say they were misled, and they get into this story about how a woman approached them outside of some border. I don't know, man. You read this stuff. Okay, here you go. One Venezuelan migrant who identified himself as Luis, 27, said he and 9 relatives were promised a flight to Massachusetts along with shelter support for 90 days, help with work permits, and English lessons. He said they were surprised when their flight landed on an island. He said the promises came from a woman who gave her name as Perla, who approached his family on the street outside a San Antonio shelter after they crossed from Mexico, and U.S. border authorities released them with an immigration court date. So these people come over illegally, they get captured, they get a court date, and then they just get released in America. They don't send them back over the border. This is craziness to me. They try to paint you as a right winger because you may make the same statements. Either we're a country or we're not a country. And I know Trump said that, but it's just a fact. Either we're a country with borders or we have no borders. What's the purpose of them? What's the purpose of having borders? Is it crossing the border a crime? How is it? We American freedmen can't commit crimes in this country and just get released right after a court date. They lock us up for every little thing and make sure they get something out of us. Community, if it's a small crime, community service. Go pick the garbage off the side of the road. They're going to get something out of you. But immigrants, they get captured, go to court, and then released onto the streets of the United States of America, sucking up the already limited resources that this government allows to go out into the public. And for those of you who watched our episodes on modern monetary theory, and if you heard our brother Logic break that down on this channel before, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Let me put that link in the chat. Put that link in the chat. We're under an invasion, family, and we have to call it for what it is, right? We have to call it an invasion. That's right, Sister Ross. Look at what they did to Brother Khalif Browder. His brother did, 3 years on Rikers Island over a book bag. A book bag, fam. They said he stole a book bag. 3 years. Rikers Island is a tough jail. That is a tough, tough jail. D said most illegal aliens don't return to court. That's a fact. It's a fact. They become drags upon the system. So what the right wing does is they waste time talking about us because that keeps their base pumped up. Talking about they're on welfare for too long, and that's draining the system. While immigrants are allowed to come over here. They're allowed to come over here and drain all of America's resources. They get on welfare. They get all types of benefits from the government. I've pulled this up on platform before, and I can pull it up again. What is it? The USCIS, I believe it's called. Millions of dollars a year go to giving immigrants not only English lessons, but civic and political education. Civic and political education. Interesting. So let's, am I going to pull up now? I think I'm going to pull up the ITIN number, right? The individual tax ID number. And somebody commented on my tweet earlier today about in New Jersey. I wish I should have had that tweet pulled up. In New Jersey, they're using these ITIN numbers to run schemes and scams. And it's like the government is just allowing them to do it. It's like that video that I shared with Michael K. Williams before he passed. He was doing a documentary for Vice News. And this particular segment highlighted a booster in New York City, Spanish chick. And they were in the car. And the driver, I guess the driver was to know if they should go to this one particular store. And the Spanish woman said, no, not that store. There's too many blacks in there. We're going to the next one because they don't suspect whites and Hispanics of stealing. And she goes right in there and cleans them out. And they send this stuff. A lot of it goes back to their home countries of origins. They put the stolen goods in drums. They sell them at discounted prices. I'm from the hood. I know about boosting. I done brought a couple of pieces of clothing articles from boosted. So I know the game. But the difference is you got to be really good to get away with boosting as a freedman in the country. You have to be an adept at it. They have the complexion. That woman said in that video, too many blacks go into that store. We're going to the next one because whites and Hispanics, we don't get looked at like that. They don't. And sure enough, she came out and she cleaned them up. She went in. She went in. So we can't help it but to wear this this dark brown skin of ours, this badge of slavery, right? It's our natural skin, but they made it a badge of slavery. That's what they did. That's why they called our brown skin black. But that's another argument. Let me pull up this Fox News piece real quick. You know, Fox, which is, and that's another thing, and I'm going to get to that too. Some of these Republicans be acting like they want illegal immigration to stop, but I don't know about that. What I think is they know that this is an issue that resonates with their base, and so they will throw the base red meat. It's what they do. And I'm gonna pull up an article. I'm gonna pull up an article in a few minutes that I've pulled up several times on this platform, but I want to highlight something. So groups want Trump to close loophole allowing illegal immigrants to abuse tax credits. And this should have been done. This is something that Trump should have done and then forced Biden to undo. Because if Biden would have undid it, it would have been something else for us, American freedmen, to point to and say, see, they care more about those immigrants than they do us. I got your back, Black America. That's what he said. That's what he said. So it reads, illegal immigrants need only one number to access billions of dollars in free taxpayer cash. Freedmen families are struggling all over this country. All over this country. And all you need is an ITIN number to access billions of dollars. They're running these scams. They're opening businesses. These people came over here with nothing in their pockets but lint and mementos from their home country. Next thing you know, they have stores all over the place. They're running all of the construction sites, all of the landscapers. And these companies, these American companies, do not mind hiring them because they work for cheap. And that's just the fact. We're going to work for, I know landscaping companies. You think we can afford to charge at some discounted rate for our work? No. Because we're not getting any extra help. We don't have ITIN numbers. It says the individual tax identification number unlocks an exclusive gateway for non-citizens to receive monies meant for working low-income Americans. You know, Fox News just can't say, black people. No, most news agencies wouldn't say that. They would probably word it the same way. But we know what low-income Americans mean. So on the one hand, in a place like Mississippi, you can get somebody like Brett Favre to, that's right, Roz, we was talking about that earlier. They have plenty of new vehicles, brand new, Benzes, Beamers, etc. So on the one hand, in Mississippi, you can get the federal government to give Mississippi funds for its low-income people, i.e. American freedmen, also known as black folk. But on the other hand, they can take that money and give it to somebody like Brett Favre to come do speaking engagements and build volleyball arenas inside of school or volleyball gymnasium or whatever inside of colleges that Brett Favre's daughter goes to, or give it to some wrestler named Ted DiBiase, or fix up certain places. But this is the money while they're denying our people the SNAP benefits or the TANF benefits. I'm not sure which one it is. Probably both, if I'm not mistaken. Brett Favre asked, you think the media is going to know where this money is coming from? He asked them that he needs to be locked up, That former governor, the liaison, some women, I can't remember her name right now, they all need to be locked up. Period. That's fraud. They get away with this stuff. So you have stuff like that going on. But then you have, let me read that again. The individual tax identification number unlocks an exclusive gateway for non-citizens to receive monies meant for working low-income Americans. I mean, we're getting our candles burnt at both ends, fam. We're being melted in this country. It continues. It's just a farce to say it was created to collect taxes. Robert Rector, senior research fellow at the Heritage Foundation, told Fox News, quote, "It's nothing but a welfare program designed for illegal immigrants. ITINs are for tourists or illegals. No ITIN filer is eligible to work in the United States." The problem with ITIN, critics say, is, I guess that meant to say it gives non-citizens access to federal cash that they should not be entitled to receive. Once illegal immigrants file ITIN tax returns, they can apply for a child tax credit, which entitles them to $1,000 per child. Unlike the earned income tax credit, which requires a social security number to qualify, the child tax credit is a cash program that does not. It's a ripoff. It's a ripoff. Another audit report examining ITIN usage found child tax credit claims more than quadrupled in 5 years, from 924 million in 2005 to $4.2 billion in 2010. No, this is Fox News. Let me scroll up. These right-wingers, these are the same people that tell us that we shouldn't get reparations. And they watch all of this federal money go to all of these different people all over this country. Let me put that link in the chat. They watch it. They tell us because their base, most of their base is racist. It's just a fact. And most of their base says that they don't agree that we should receive reparations. Ironically, some of their base is also a lot of these immigrants who've come in the past 10, 20 years. Some of these who have been caught and released. Just saying, fam, we gotta band together. I don't. I'm trying not to go a certain place right now because I'm always speaking about political unity and uniformity, but there's some people that I'm noticing in the space that they don't care about that. We have to try to find a way to streamline our energy into the things that matter to us. That's why I propose starting the Freedmen for Immigration Reform, because they keep saying y'all are using right-wing talking points like PFER. Oh, okay, well, we will just do the research ourselves and put our own organization and our own research together and call it the Freedmen for Immigration Reform. Now what you're going to say? Now you have to deal with the statistics. Let's take away all of the excuses. Now let's just deal with the statistics. See, the people on the left, they don't want to do that. They just want to keep trying to tie you to a right-wing group so that they could discredit you somehow to the rest of America, who probably doesn't know any better because they're not in this space. So the lefties, the left-wing Democrat people, they get to go out and say, them guys, those people, they're anti-immigrant. They rock with Donald Trump. They really black MAGA. And so the unsuspected freedmen all over the country, they don't know. They like, really? It's like, because they are being indoctrinated and programmed to believe that immigration is this good thing. It's not. It's not. So let me pull up something that I said I wanted to pull up. If y'all seen me pull this up before, because I'm trying to bring some attention to it in the state of Georgia. Lawmakers introduce bill to help refugees attend Georgia colleges. Bypass all of the people in Georgia, especially the freedmen. But there's one word I want to pull up: labor shortage. Let's pull that up. Let's pull that up. So it says, in Georgia and across the country, the pace of the post-COVID economic recovery has been slowed by the persistent challenge of labor shortages. Now, if you read this book, the back of the hiring line, then you know that's one of the key words that they use to just keep bringing in more and more immigrants. This is a lie. That we have the jobs, we just don't have the people. Well, if that's the case, why are Black Americans, American freedmen, the highest unemployed group in the country? Are you saying that they don't want to work? What do you mean by labor shortage? We don't have nobody in the halls of Congress. We don't have anybody on the House floor challenging these narratives. And this is not just a left-wing narrative. This is a right-wing narrative as well. This bill in Georgia is sponsored by Democrats and Republicans. We, and I'm quoting, we currently have more jobs in Georgia available than we have people to fill them. A lot of small business owners are telling me. We need access to more labor, Cantrell said. All refugees want to do is work. They want to live the American dream. Easing their access to education could help make that happen. It's gaslighting. It's true, right? It's true. They want to live that American dream, but it presupposes that American freedmen don't want to live the American dream. The people who have been beaten for generations. So you don't want to offer them free college or in-state college tuition. That they're not even, these refugees are coming from other countries, fam. They're not coming out of their pockets for this. The government is footing the bill. This is why we have in our reparations in our political agenda, as a part of a reparations package, free education for American freedmen in this country, especially for colleges like Athens Tech, shown on the screen, where these immigrants are coming and they're learning all of the skilled jobs. They're learning all of the skilled jobs. Amend the media. Let's see. A labor shortage. Freedmen Bureau will create jobs. Black Americans have always had the highest rate of unemployment since enslavement. And this is what we're talking about. That's why one of my major pushes in the push of our organization, the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, and Be the Power, our political arm, is for the reestablishment of the Freedmen's Bureau. Getting that Freedmen's Bureau reestablished. Let me see. I'm trying to see some of the comments. Descendants of UK chattel slave. Man, you make it too many comments, fam. I'm trying to catch all the other comments, but I see you though. I recognize everybody that's contributing in the chat. But so you see that, right? And we see that this is a bill that's being sponsored by both Republicans and Democrats. These are refugees from Afghanistan and Iraq, just refugees in general. They're trying to bring these people over and get them uh, trained up so they could go and in 5 years surpass the American freedmen who've been here for generations. They've still got to get admitted, but they wouldn't have to wait a year for the tuition rates to go down. The bill's main sponsor, Rep. Wes Cantrell, Republican out of Woodstock, Georgia, said, why not give them a little bit of a hand up to try to get their schooling started right away so that hopefully they can become a productive member of our state? What about the people that's here? I'm tracking this bill, family. I'm tracking this bill. It's not too much movement on it. But as soon as the movement starts, for those of you who are in Georgia, let's link up. We're going to make some noise, and we're going to get in these people's faces, in their inboxes, in their emails, their voicemails, etc. We don't want this bill. This is not something that we want. We want you to invest in American freedmen who are already here in the States, who are forced to turn to what is called the street economy, who are joining gangs because the family structure is breaking down all around them. We have to address that. You can no longer just let this go on and on and on. And that's on us, family. That's why I want to with people worth working with, people that see this thing for what it is. And, you know, they're not trying to center themselves in what's being done for our people through the process itself. Because I'm starting to see a lot of that. People trying to center themselves in the movement. So the news article for NBC came out about a week ago. Farmers push for immigration reform to counter what? Labor shortages and rising food prices. Let me put this link in the chat. Like to keep the fam informed as we go along. You can read that on your own time. Again, if you would like to support the channel, use that Cash App, Be the Power. We are in the process of reorganizing right now. Use the super chat. You can donate via the website, usadof.org. Those links are in the description. So, you know, we're definitely pushing for support to the channel because we gotta make moves, and we have to really expand our media because there are, let me just say real quick, family, there are people that I don't think they don't care about us getting to the finish line. I just don't believe it anymore. I'm of the belief that there are certain people that do not care about us getting to the finish line at all. Some people just want to be seen as stars in this space. And that has never, ever been the position of BTP, ever. And we have a track record to prove it. Prove it. Ty Friedman said, peace, fam. I'm in Southeast Georgia. Definitely have to keep our eyes on this stuff. These illegals are running rampant down here as well. They're all over. I went to the Tanger outlet in Commerce, Georgia. This was wasn't quite winter yet, I don't think. Maybe last year around this time, I think. It could have been winter. It could have been winter. Yeah, it was the winter. It was so I go. Yeah, it was freezing that day. It was definitely winter, and it's like the schools. When we first moved to Georgia, it was black and white students in the school. It was maybe a few, Mexicans. Now it is equal parts black, white, Mexican. I just don't understand why people come and anchor themselves. Like I'm starting to question it because it's affecting me. It's affecting my people. Why not take what you're getting and go back to another country? And remittances. Oh man, we were supposed to do a whole live stream on remittances. Peace, Sister BB. You have some immigrants here whose remittances represent 30% of the GDP of certain countries. They're taking money out of the system. I should have, if I was thinking, I would have included that in tonight's stream. They are taking money out of America and sending it to their home country. I worked with the brother from Kenya that said, I don't spend no money here. I pay my rent, my cars is paid up. I mean, I pay my mortgage, you know, my necessities, my gas. Said I buy some clothing every once in a blue. He said, but all my money goes home. If I was thinking, I would have pulled that up. That's what I would be getting into right now. Remittances. That's right, D. This is unacceptable, and we have to do something about it. That's why I just want to build with people that really want to build. And you know, I'm bringing up certain stuff without necessarily bringing up certain stuff because I don't think that that's what everybody's goal is in this space. There's certain people that I know for 100% certain that are about building and about advancing this movement, and we can see the fruits of their work, like in California. We can see it. And then there's other people who's, you know, they may have popular names on Twitter, but not necessarily people that I would call reparationists. See no fruit. Now, you know, I try not to get up here and speak about certain stuff anymore. I just try to teach and keep it moving. But you don't see the urgency and anyway, the farm operators say the Farm Workforce Modernization Act give them a stable, reliable workforce by creating a path to citizenship for undocumented agricultural workers and reforming the seasonal farm worker visa program. Trying to tell me I can't go recruit in these low-income neighborhoods and gather them and say, who would like to learn how to farm? Especially down here in the South. Some of these ancestors, they come from farm. My great-grandfather had a farm on my mother's side. My great-great-grandfather on my father's side had a farm, both in South Carolina. My grandmother's father or her grandfather, I can't remember at the moment. Let's read a little bit of this. Farmers across the U.S. are joining a push for national immigration reform that they say could ease labor shortages and lower food prices as surging production costs continue to rock the agricultural industry. So my thing is this. Are black farmers with this? We got to start talking. I just wasn't thinking. I am in a group on Facebook that deals with black farmers, and I'm going to ask them, is this something that black farmers are pushing for? Are you pushing for your competition to come from other countries to get undergirded by this country? Because I can pull up some statistics and show you just how much American freedmen received in farm aid as opposed to everybody else. Everybody else received more money than us. We got sued, said you can't do nothing specifically for black folks. Let me put this link in the chat. I ain't going to read through it. Try to get through some of this stuff tonight. I'm going to try not to be on here long. Peace, Sister Brianna. I see you in the building. Yes, BB, the remittances is crazy. I mean, we was going over it the other day, and I was baffled. You know, Josh was reading that stuff, and I mean, I was just absolutely baffled. I was baffled. People are migrating into this country. They're milking this American cow. They're using ITIN numbers and all other manner of schemes. They're eligible for millions of dollars in grants that go to immigrant services every year. And they're largely sending that money to their home countries. Could you imagine? There's so much immigrant money. I can't remember the country that's leaving the United States of America. That one country, these remittances represent 30% of their GDP. 30%. American freedmen are struggling here in this country. Okay, BB said that case was dismissed last week. So I didn't see that. So that's great. That the fact that they got sued in the first place is wow. So I got to look that up. Right? I'm definitely going to look that up. So I want to see that. But what actions are the Biden administration going to take? What are they going to do? Because this is what we had to endure here in the United States of America, how the government helped white Americans steal black farmland. There was once a thriving black middle class based on farm ownership, but during the 20th century, the USDA helped erase the source of wealth, that source of wealth. Let me put that in the inbox. In the live chat. Pull that up, read it when you get time. This is what we got to deal with. This is the stuff we have to deal with as a people. This is what we had to deal with. The government helped white Americans steal our farmland. We've lost so much land over the past 100 years. And now you're telling me that some group of farmers are advocating for immigrants to come over? What about the people who had their land stolen from them? What about their progeny who live in poor conditions in inner cities all over this country, especially down here in the South? What are you going to do about that? We have the ammunition, family. We just have to band together. That's it. That's it. And that's what I'm always calling for. I'm always calling for our people to band together. Some people take that for granted, but I'm not going to let that happen anymore. So let's get into, I'm about to get up off of here. Let's get into some of the effects. Let me see. Where do I want to go with this? I pull this article up all the time, but let's pull it up again. So this is the effects of immigration on African American employment and incarceration. The 2000 from 1980 to 2000, immigration influx therefore generally explains about 20 to 60% of the decline in wages, 25% of the decline in employment, and about 10% of the rise in incarceration rates among blacks with a high school education or less. I don't have to read through this. I've read it through the program, on this program several times before, and I'll probably read it a dozen or 24 more times. I'll pull this thing up. You know what? I'll read the first paragraph. Almost everybody knows that in the past 40 years, the real wages and job prospects for low-skilled men, especially low-skilled minority workers, have fallen. And there is evidence, although no consensus, that a rising tide of immigration is partly to blame. Now, a new NBER study suggests that immigration has far more reaching consequences than merely depressing wages and lowering employment rates of low-skilled African American males. Its effects also appear to push some would-be workers into crime and later prison. It's a correlation between the influx of immigrants and the rise of crime and imprisonment of American freedmen men in this country. What do we do? Because the Black Democrats are telling us that, well, it's too much for y'all to, keep going in like this. Y'all are xenophobic. Y'all are xenophobic. The numbers don't lie. People do. This is from the Migration Policy Institute. Headline reads, "It is too simple to call 2021 a record year for migration at the U.S.-Mexico border." With today's news that U.S. Customs and Border Protection encountered migrants crossing the U.S. border without authorization 1.66 million times in fiscal year 2021, a number that rises to 1.73 million when interactions at ports of entry are included. Much is being made of the fact that these numbers top the 1.64 million apprehensions that occurred in fiscal year 2000, making this the highest year on record. While there's no doubt that 2021 represents a high one for border arrivals, reflecting both an increase from recent years and diversification of nationalities, this does not necessarily mean that more migrants were intercepted or illicitly entered the country than was the case 21 years ago. Well, 1.66 million. Let me put that in the inbox. I'm going to pull up one more. One more. They said we're xenophobic because we're speaking about something that's hurting us. This is hurting us. Nobody wants to address it. These people ignore it. You're a xenophobe. So I don't, phobia means fear, right? That phobe word gets thrown. You're a homophobe. You're a xenophobe. Phobe means fear. So if me pointing out how massive waves of immigration is having a deleterious effect on the well-being of American freedmen in the country that our ancestors built for free at the force of whip is xenophobic, then I am afraid. I am afraid that my children, matter of fact, let me go into the archives. Let me go into the archive. Let me pull up that Charles Blow clip. I'm trying to drive the point. And here, a liberal, a uber liberal is going to drive the point. Y'all know I play this on the platform all the time, and I'm going to play it again.
Right. Radical conversation. No, this is literally right now, 90%+ white people. But if you take the population of all those states, put them together, they're only 1/4 the population of black people in this country. It's not about your scale. People say, well, black people can't think they're going to have that much power. They're only 14% of the population. Scale has nothing to do with it.
That's right.
Those people in those 6 or 7 states represent only 3% of the American population, but they also represent 1 out of every 6 Senate votes ever cast on any issue.
Wow.
What you have to do is decide if you want to be strategically arrayed in America rather than completely spread out. And there's a balkanization of this country that's coming whether I wrote this book or not. It's happening. In 30 years from now, 6, 7, 8 of the southwestern states will be majority Hispanic. Not majority brown, not majority minority, majority Hispanic. They will send whatever delegation they want to Washington, and they should. They will control all those electoral college votes, and then that's the way it breaks. Hawaii will continue to be majority Asian, South Pacific Islander, and they will send people representing that demographic to Congress as they do now. Oregon, Washington, down into the Rockies will continue to be majority white. Everything east of that will be some combination of majority white and majority minority. There is not a single state on that map 30 years from now that is projected to be majority black. Now, black people just have a choice to make. As I've been going in this book, I keep saying, I'm not twisting you on. I'm saying, do you want state power or not?
That's right.
Because you can have it. It has nothing to do with your scale. Has nothing to do with you being 40% of the population. It has to do with where do you want to literally position yourself in the country, because you can have that power.
All right, it's off now. I don't know. StreamYard has been acting up on me for the past couple days. I don't know if y'all were able to see that. It kept freezing up on my end, but he already said it. 30 years from now, the Hispanics will have doubled our population, and the Asians would have surpassed us in number. Where does that leave a group of people that this country is already ignoring? Where does that leave us? Where does that leave our children who in 30 years from now will be grown men and women who will have children? Will they live in encampments under bridges in cities that they once inhabited? No, because we're going to push for the Black South strategy. That's why we're trying to get people on the same page. Everybody keep trying to pull in every different direction because they just don't want to take direction. And that's just what it is. The plans are laid out. Well, we didn't write the book. We didn't come up with the plan. We adopted it. Could you imagine? Like, oh, those guys are doing it, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to promote it. Just because they're doing it. I'm telling y'all, fam, like there's some issues in this reparations movement that needs to be addressed. Misandry is one of them. And I'm going to be real with y'all. That stuff has no place here. It has no place here. Not just misandry, misogyny, neither. But we don't see that in this space. We see a lot of misandry, though, going on behind the scenes. And it's like, it is what it is. You got to call it. We got to call it for what it is. A lot of hating going on with people that's not even really involved in anything of consequence. People just on Twitter think that these people are important. We got to fix that. This is our reality here. What I have up on this screen is our reality. Immigrant population hits record 46.2 million in November of 2021. That's more than the American freedmen. We're being overrun. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff that I can go through dealing with African immigration and colleges, certain, things that I've pulled up on before on Be the Power. Let me see. You know what? I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But I mean, look, 46.2 million. Where do we fear? We see the rappers, that brother that got killed. Somebody said, how do you know that it is more? I never believed their numbers, much less parrot them. I mean, that's on you, fam. I mean, that's on you. I can only go by what's out there. What I believe or not believe is really inconsequential. I'm quite sure they know how many of us are in this country. I mean, if that's on you, I mean, if that's the way you feel, there's a lot of people feel that way, that feel that we're undercounted, and it may be so. It's hard to fathom, in my opinion. I would want to think that they know exactly how many of us there are in this country. So one brother said he missed 45. Hey, I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I wasn't necessarily a fan of Trump, but I felt that we would have gotten more leeway with Donald Trump than we would have gotten with Jim Crow Joe Biden, segregationist, whose best friend in the Senate was Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was groomed by one of the most blatant racists in American political history by the name of Ben, what was his name? Pitchfork Ben. I forget his last name that fast. Pitchfork Ben. Look him up. But at the end of the day, I don't foresee Jim Crow Joe doing anything for us. Let me see. Let me pull this up. He says, true, maybe, maybe not, because that's crazy. It's like we are the only population, I'm guessing, that stays allegedly the same and shrink according to them. And out here in the West, it is done. I mean, I don't really understand. Okay, I get it. Everywhere out here is Mexico. Yeah. California and Texas is, I mean, they might as well be called Little Mexico. New Mexico, Little Mexico, and other Mexico. They might as well change. You know, that's right, BB. Meanwhile, hiding and supporting his half-black daughter. This country is sick. Strom Thurmond. He had a baby by a freedman woman. He hated Negroes. He hated Negroes. And had a baby by a freedman woman. When his whole career, they said the thing that you resist sometimes persists. It's just the part of the way the universe happens. Let me put that link, that last link in the chat as well. So I'm going to give here, my goal tonight was to highlight the fact that there is an invasion, and I did that. It hurts us. Some people don't want to talk about this. Some people, they want to shy away from it. They think that by not talking about it, somehow it's going to go away. Or somehow, maybe what they're doing is going to be so effective that the immigration problem is something that they could put behind it. But no, she said he sent her to law school. I did not know that, Sister BB. I did not know that. Ain't that something? But, I'm concerned for us. I'm concerned for us. I look at my children, and they don't understand. I was talking earlier to my daughter. I took her to a protest. She was downtown, and she wanted to go, and I was like, I'm like, all right. So I went and got her the big board for the sign, and her sign said Black and Hispanics, and I was like, no, Hispanics get everything in this country. We're advocating for us. They're not shooting them down. They shooting us down. Have many of the cops doing the shooting as Hispanics themselves. But she didn't understand. And our youth, they don't understand because we're being programmed to just love everybody. Okay, Otis said he raped the family. Man, this Strom Thurmond story is, all the layers are just unfolding. Jeez, he raped the family maid. Goodness. Strom Thurmond. Boy, may he rot in hell. May he rot in hell and burn eternally, if there's such a place. So I'm going to get off of here, man. My job is done. I'm hoping that for those of you who just come on, go back to the beginning of the episode. Go back to the beginning of tonight's live stream and check it out. Let me see. Sister out in Cali said there's a place out here in Southern California known for hate crimes of Hispanics killing and harming blacks. I heard they have something called NK out there, the Hispanics, nigger killer. I heard like that's like a badge. that they get. Deport them. Send them back to their home countries. Again, fam, let me get up out of here. Support the platform. We are in the process of reorganizing some things. We want to get a whole new board. We want to start taking phone calls. We want to expand the other channel. Where y'all at, fam? Where my people that want to get up on this thing and talk their talk? We're trying to open it up. And I know I've thrown that out there before, but people, I don't know if it's intimidation. I don't know if they just don't want to rock with I don't know what the hell it is, but we're starting to see more new blood come into the reparationist fold. These are the people that I'm seeking to work with because, I'll keep that to myself. But support the platform. Cash App be the power. You could go to the website and send a tax deductible donation as well. We are going to grow our platform. I was at a training over the past weekend, and it was one of Sister Tesla Figaro had held a political boot camp. And one of my personal takeaways with all of the knowledge that I learned was we have to grow our media base. We have to be the ones that our family members will listen to, because we don't have the reach. We don't have the finances and resources that somebody like Roland Martin has, so he can just continue to keep gaslighting black people and gaslighting them. Those that kind of veer away from mainstream media, they find themselves listening to somebody like that. We have to step up and be in control over our media and over our message, fam. So I'll leave you all with the motto of the platform, which is don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then will you have the power to make a change. With that, I say peace.